So hi Jamie, it's Tyler here, and I've gone ahead and just shot this quick over-the-shoulder video for you. It's going to kind of go over the website, do a bit of a website audit, and analyze the competition a little bit. I apologize for getting it out so late. Just got a whole bunch of other things on the go. Now I'm going to just shoot this sort of over-the-shoulder, off the cuff, so it tends to run on a little bit. That's just always the way when we jump in and sort of just don't have a script here, and I run it and just talk about the design and sort of some of the factors it's going to take to get some better search results. So you might want to watch a little bit of this, stop it halfway, and continue on. But we'll jump right in here, and what we're going to do is talk about two different aspects of a successful website. So the on-page factor, so that's going to be things like your design and some of the content on the actual website. And then we'll talk about off-page factors, which are basically outside signals telling Google, hey, this particular website is about this service and it's an authority in this service. It should get ranked higher. So I'm going to try not to get too technical, but again, it's going to run on a little bit, I know, just from doing these before, but hopefully you get some good information here and you get an idea of what it's going to take to get some better search results for your website. So I'd like to also thank you for filling out this form. If we ever do potentially, work together down the road, or just passing some advice along your way, getting this background information just helps me kind of see where you're coming from, what services you sort of offer, and the goal of the website, and where you see the website and this particular business in the next little while. So I've gone through some of this, and I can always refer back to it if I need to. So from my understanding is basically you just like to potentially get some more visibility from Google and the search engine. So rank better for terms associated, with the services you offer, whether it's Guelph Mortgage Broker, private mortgages in Guelph, and so on. So that's sort of that initial short-term sort of goal with the website. And I see you've provided some terms that you think might be good to go after. And then always, the biggest concern with doing any of this sort of optimization, it's always the same for many people. It's that return on investment. If you were to invest or pay someone to do some search engine optimization, get a better website, are you going to get a return on some of those leads? So we'll talk a little bit about that in terms of analyzing the competition and really seeing, resource-wise, what it's going to take to jump up there and get those potential leads that are coming from Google and the various search engines. So thanks again for filling that out with that much detail. So let's go ahead and look at your website here. So the first thing we always do is just look at the overall design, and it's really important to have websites that are mobile friendly. Everyone's on their cell phones or iPads and whatnot. So if we plug this particular site in, it passes the mobile friendly test that Google runs. So it's mobile friendly, so that's great. In terms of overall design, just me quickly going through, I haven't really gone through and went over all the content and whatnot. I can see that the layout certainly works. You might just want to optimize some images a little bit better. But these are just sort of minor tweaks that can always be updated and won't take too much time or resources or anything like that to do. So that would just be my first initial thought, was just some of the images might want to get changed out, but certainly not a huge issue with the design at all. And I know that you're running, or I believe you're running, something through WordPress. So any sort of updates with that, it's good that I believe the site is running that platform. So design updates are certainly, an easy sort of fix. One thing I did notice is that the site is getting 301 redirected to jamievassi.com. So I know that you mentioned Royal City Mortgage. I believe that's yours as well. So basically, Royal City Mortgage gets 301, or gets automatically redirected to jamievassi.com. Now, you'd actually, once we jump into talking about rankings and whatnot and search engine optimization, this is actually sort of reverse. You'd actually want it the other way. So you might have value in having your domain name as your name. You can hand out a business card and so forth, but you'd actually want jamievassi.com to redirect to royalcitymortgage.com, because all the work that you want to do in terms of optimizing the website and the domain, you'd really want to do that to Royal City Mortgage, because Google's a computer. It reads, and one of the very first things it reads is your domain. So if you're trying to rank and rank well for terms associated with mortgages, then there's a huge advantage to having mortgage in your domain name. Google reads that, and right away it'll know, hey, this website is about mortgages. When it comes to your domain name here as your name, jamievassi.com, you can certainly rank for Guelph Mortgage Broker, but you're already kind of one step behind. You're going to have so much more authority and so many more other factors to play to tell Google that, jamievassi.com should outrank a site called guelphmortgagebroker.com for terms associated with mortgages. If you can kind of follow that that idea there, that Google will read this, and there's much more of a direct advantage for rankings to have a domain name that has your actual some of your terms such as mortgage in the domain. So you'd actually want to flip that and build everything out on Royal City Mortgage. And then if you hand out a business card, it says Jamie Vassi, someone goes to that, they just get redirected to the Royal City one, and they won't know. But so that's good for marketing, but it's not good for building the website. So the next thing that we look at is going to be, apart from that, the next thing I noticed was things that are on-page factors, so your content and some of your titles. So I'm not going to jump into the content, but I can certainly look at the titles of your pages. And if we look here and we just go site : your domain name, it gives you a list of all the pages that are indexed in Google. And if you can see, these are not optimized. So your homepage is called Jamie Vassi - Jamie Vassi, and your realtor page is called Realtor - Jamie Vassi. So basically it's not set up properly with any keywords that are optimized. So these are titles of your various pages. And when we look at the other search results with some of your competitors, you can just see that right now Google will come and they'll read this, and they'll read jamievassi.com, and then they'll read this title, and they won't understand that you offer, you're a mortgage broker. So that's something that is an easy fix, but it's certainly something that's very important to do. So that's on-page factors. And basically, in terms of importance, we've got your domain, which is the first important, and then we've got outside factors, which we'll talk about, but your titles of all your pages are very important as well. And then you've got your on-page things like content, which I'm not going to jump into in this video. So the next factor, after you fix your titles and you sort of optimize the design a little bit, and you've got your content up here, which is really good, you're going to want to look at off-page factors. So I'm going to jump in here and show you this tool. And again, I'm going to try not to get too technical and let this run on too long, but basically, search engine optimization involves telling Google what your website is about. So this tool, Ahrefs, basically you plug in a website, it analyzes everything about that particular website. So right away it's going to throw up our title, and we just spoke about that, how that's certainly not optimized. You'd rather have something like Guelph or Mortgage Broker in Guelph - Jamie Vassi. That would be the first start to having a title that's optimized for your services. Now, in terms of understanding this, I'll give an example that's very sort of non-technical. Google is a computer, and it just knows how to read things. So it'll read your title and read your domain, and right away it doesn't know that you offer the services you do. The other way that Google ranks websites is by other sites signaling to Google that, hey, Jamie Vassi is a website about mortgage broker services. He's the best mortgage broker in Guelph. He offers this, this, and this different services. Now, Google will understand that because of other websites linking to your website and telling you that. So think of it, Google doesn't know that you offer any of the services unless other websites tell it through talking about it online, sharing it on social media, linking to it and telling it that this website's important. So that's how Google knows that your website is an authority in the various niche and the services you offer, because other websites are linking to it and telling Google, hey, this is about mortgage broker services. They offer this type of private mortgage and so forth. So if we just look in here, this is the number we'll just focus on for this video, referring domains. So you've only got 2 other websites that are linking to your particular website. So unfortunately, Google reads that. It doesn't get any sort of information about what you offer. Therefore, it's not going to rank you for your various services and terms. Now, if we jump over to Google here, and I've just plugged in a few of these different terms. So we'll just do the one, Guelph Mortgage Broker. And you can see here we've got a bunch of ads, and then we've got the map pack. So this is if you have a Google My Business account, which we won't talk about today. And then you've got basically the organic results. So this is where we would want to rank websites organically, search engine optimization. So you've got Guelph Mortgage Brokers, Mortgage Broker Guelph. So right there you can see this is a title that's optimized for Guelph Mortgage Brokers. If we compared that to yours, you just sort of had your name. Next one, in position 2, we got Paul Gazzola, Mortgage Broker in Guelph. So right there we've got a keyword that tells Google that he's a mortgage broker in Guelph. It's in his title. We've got an authority site, Yelp. We've got an authority site, 3 best rated, and then we've got Mortgage Guys. So here's the website, and then we've got a nice title, Mortgage Broker in Guelph. So it's optimized for this search that we did. Guelph Mortgage Broker. All these top people have Guelph Mortgage Broker in their title, whether it's in their domain. It's in this domain. It's in guelphmortgagebroker.ca's domain. Guelph Second Mortgages. It's in that domain, and it's in basically all the titles. So that's basically on-page factors. Now, I've gone through and looked at some of these, and I'm not going to jump into too much detail, but basically what you would want to do is whatever these guys are doing that's what good, you just want to emulate for your own on-page information. So services, they've got things like, I know you mentioned new to Canada or first-time buyers. So if you click here, they have a page all about information about first-time buyers. So the only way to get someone to your website who might be a first-time buyer in Guelph is to actually host a page and have some content about that particular subject matter. So they've got that, and like I said, they've got new to Canada. They've got a page about that and so forth. So in terms of moving forward and building out your pages, easiest thing to do is just to come and see what some of the top websites are doing and sort of emulate their style and what they're doing. So everyone's got all this sort of content about all their different services. So that's certainly something that as you move forward, you'd want to build out in your website a few more pages that discuss some of those services. So you'd want a page about people who are new to Canada and sort of the services that you can offer them. You'd want a page about first-time buyers and the services that you offer to them and so forth. Now, if we look at all these websites that are ranking well in Google, we want to understand what is it going to take for a website to outrank champion.ca, tobemortgagefree.com, and mortgageguys.com. Basically, when we look at this, we say, these guys are ranking well. How am I going to optimize my site in order to outrank them and position myself as an authority in this niche? And basically, I'm not going to go through every one of those websites in great detail here, but just to show you the contrast, if we jump over here and we plug in mortgageguys.com, and we can see that this is the number we're looking at. They have about 90 different websites linking to them, telling Google, hey, this site's about mortgages, they offer mortgage services in Guelph, and so forth. So my initial thought was that's not a terrible number in terms of competition. It's big, but what you want to avoid is sites that have thousands and thousands of other websites linking to them, because then the competition is very tough and it's going to take resources and resources. for this sort of niche in a city like Guelph, this is really what you expect to see, about 100 different domains. And then you can see contrast to you at the moment, you've just got the 2 there. Now we're only going to go over the number. There's many more things to look at rather than just the number, but just for this video and to keep it quite simple, we'll just look at that number. If we jump to champion.ca, you've got their title here, Guelph Mortgage Broker, so that's optimized, and they've got about 60 other websites linking to them. So again, sort of tough, but not something that's totally not doable in terms of outperforming them. And then some good signs is that To Be a Mortgage Free, they ranked well. So I'm not going to, I'll jump back over. To Be Mortgage Free, they are ranking actually right here. This is Paul Gozzola's site, so second for that term, which is really good. And if we jump over and look at them, bingo, they've only got about 19 different websites linking to them. So that's a great sign that, if you were to set up this and we sort of set up our links and got some really good search engine optimization in place, that's a signal right here that it's not a huge authority website that's ranking number 2. It's a site that only has about 19 different domains. So that's a great sign. And I'll just go through a few other here. Guelph Second Mortgages, they were on page 1, 33, so not too bad. GuelphMortgageBroker.ca, they've only got 4. So this tells us that, if you were to just optimize your website a bit better and, just do a little bit of work, you might potentially be able to get on page 1. Now, to get number 1, it's going to take much more. These guys got 100 or so. And just to contrast, this is a good sign. What you don't want to see, or what you would not have wanted to see, would be a website like this. Ontario Mortgage Superstore, they've got close to 700 different websites that are linking to them, telling Google that, hey, Ontario Mortgage Superstore, we're all about mortgages. We offer home loans and whatnot. It's just themed so well for mortgages that would take a lot of work and resources to outrank them for certain terms. And one term that they do rank well for, private mortgages in Guelph, you can scroll down here, and under Kijiji, we've got Guelph Mortgage Broker. So that would be a term that would be much more difficult to rank for, considering their website is a bit of a strong authority in this niche. So overall, in terms of progressing and having some success in this niche, the first thing that you'd always want to do is just optimize the site better for titles and some different pages. So certainly this is something we'd want to clean up, having your titles be optimized for the services and the keywords you want to rank for. I would strongly recommend, if you're going to do any work on this site, to move it away from your name and host and do all the work on Royal City Mortgage, or potentially find a new website to do it all on that is very specific to the service you want to offer. So Royal City Mortgage is actually good. And then have, basically, you can still have jamievassi.com, and then it redirects 301 redirect to Royal City. That way you can still brand yourself everywhere as jamievassi.com, but all the search engine optimization work would go on this website, just because, as I mentioned, we looked at all those other websites, mortgageguys.com, Champion, that's one exception there. We've got To Be Mortgage Free, and Guelph Second Mortgages. Everyone's got mortgage in their domain name. You're sort of shooting yourself in the foot if you don't build on this. That would be a top recommendation. And then, like I said, building the different titles and optimizing that. And then you'd want to look at, what is it going to take to really get some off-page authority signals to Google and other external websites linking in. That's really sort of what we specialize in. But moving towards that, there's, it takes more resources and it takes a bit more time. So basically, I think we'll end it here. I think we ran on a little bit. In terms of what I'm seeing with this, you can certainly optimize the on-page factors better, and you can do that quite quickly and quite easily. And then in terms of progressing, and really, if your goal was to rank number 1 for Guelph Mortgage Broker, It's going to take quite a bit of time and resources to really outperform these guys. So they've got quite a bit of established authority in this niche, but it's not something that's not doable. You can certainly do it, but it takes time. You're basically starting from scratch in terms of where you are right now, just because you haven't had any of this type of work done. So it's really more of a long-term sort of project to get above and to rank well. So I think I'll stop there, Jamie. Again, there's this niche is hopeful. There's not a ton of authority sites where you'd never be able to be found. Certainly with some good search engine optimization, you'd be able to get there. But again, we're starting from scratch, so it's kind of like a long term project. But I hope you found this useful. Certainly get back to me. I'd be more than happy to help progress some of those on-page factors, and then we can maybe look at, if this is really something you want to do, that's important, we can kind of maybe work something out about progressing forward. So thanks again, and I hope that you found this useful.